Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Channels Television celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. This is the news at 10, and here's a reminder of our major stories tonight. President Buhari's qualities extolled at book launch on Nigeria's leadership challenge in Abuja. Political and business leaders heaping encomiums on the president. Some governors and prominent Nigerians advocate restructuring of the country to make it more productive, call for return to true federalism. Former House Committee Chairman on Appropriation Abdul Mumin Jibrin vows to expose what he calls more systemic corruption in the House of Representatives. And Ethiopians mourn victims of deadly stampede and anti-government protests in Oromia. Just a quick reminder to you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do log on to m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and updates, the Channels TV app has an eyewitness feature. We encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions. Now, there's a need to pay attention to the education of children during their formative years, and this is the consensus as parents, teachers and others in the education sector converged on Lagos today to review the nation's education sector. The gathering is coming on the heels of concerns about the falling standard of education in the country. Our correspondent Loretta Chogo reports.
A report by UNICEF shows that 40% of Nigerian children from age 6 to 11 do not attend any primary school, with the northern region recording the lowest school attendance rate in the country, particularly for girls. The decline in the education sector is worrisome, and so the reason for this gathering of educators, like minds and parents. Psychologists say at age 5, the child has 90% brain function as a grown adult. Therefore, the need to pay more attention to them.
No specific curriculum for the early years in our country. Go from school to school. What you will see is a watered down version of primary curriculum. The teachers don't even know what to do. In developed countries, you have teachers who are trained for specialty, sections of the educational sector. It is either B.Ed, secondary education, B.Ed, primary education, B.Ed, early years, but not so in our country.
The cutoff mark for teachers is so low. What kind of teachers are we looking at? We're looking at people who couldn't make it in any other course and just feel, let me just go and study education. I think that teachers should be one of the brightest people we have. So we're also going to talk about, if you're looking for very well-trained teachers, then we should be thinking of paying them very well.
For those directly involved in teaching, the government must continue to give direction for operators in the sector.
By the time you hear that Nigeria is 143 out of 143 in primary education, that grieves my heart. It grieves the heart of every parent. Because just give it about 10, 15 years or 20 years. That's our labor force that we're talking about. By that time, they'll be 25, 26, 27. They're about to start working. What is going to be the result? So we are all very, very concerned.
To influence the totality of the sector, we will really need to work with government. And we seek for this way to synergize, to work together.
The allocation to education in the current year's budget remains the lowest since 2011 at 369 billion naira. That's against the 26% UNESCO benchmark recommendation for developing countries. Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.
From those statistics, let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Hey, Ibrahim.
Hello, Ejama. Good to see you. The Nigerian Air Force says it has destroyed illegal oil refineries and barges filled with petroleum products in its effort to stop illegal bunkering and criminal activities in the Niger Delta. Director of Public Relations and Information Operation Delta Safe, Group Captain Ayodele Famuyiwa, says the refineries and barges were sighted by NAF Diamond 42 aircraft on intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance mission in Bile community of Rivers State. He says an Mi-24V helicopter gunship was called in for attack and the operation was a success. The Air Force says a similar operation was carried out with remarkable success about 2 days ago in the same location, and these are clear signals to criminals operating in the South-South region as well as other parts of the country that it is no longer business as usual. Now, residents of Takpesi Abaji local council area of the Federal Capital Territory have appealed to officials to make good their promise of providing basic infrastructure for their community. Among other things, residents of the community are complaining about lack of potable water, which they say has been responsible for the death of several children. In our special report, our correspondent Gloria Omezuke takes a look at the lack of basic amenities in Takpesi community in the nation's capital.
The struggle begins from here. We had to park at Yaba, a popular bus stop which is still 1 hour away from Takpesi community by motorcycle. Bad roads characterize this part of Abaji local council area. Upon arrival, the sorry state of the school greeted us. Children are forced to learn in classrooms where the roof have almost collapsed. Walls of the classrooms are also cracked, and the school lacks functional toilets.
E, D, E, F,
A teacher here explains that the community has written many times to the authorities and even received several promises.
The time that you are going to see them is the time that they are looking for a seat. But by the time that they have get that seat, that is all about again. You will not even see them again.
After school, some of them go home for lunch while others head for the stream. The lack of potable water is another huge challenge.
It's a risky and dangerous business here. I had to crawl my way down here just to join some of the residents fetch water. They do this every day, and watch this. Some of the women, with a heavy bucket of water, they have to climb up this steep hill to get to their homes.
They painstakingly make their way up. Clearly, this situation calls for urgent attention.
ruwa wanke ba mu da shi ba sai kana saka yi wanke ka duba ruwa a cikin rafi din ki je gida da shi wahalan da muna yi ba wanda yana yi wahala ruwa sai mu ne muna yi wahala ruwa na gari ga wahala inji in wanda zai je rafi sai da wahala ya hawo tudu.
Many a times they fall sick and the only clinic available is in another community across the stream. The functional clinic is directly opposite the one built by Shopi in 2013, but has since been abandoned.
That clinic service is just offensive. That's why sometimes we don't even stay there comfortably, because it's only a classroom there that we talk to the headmaster and help us so that we should be managing that place.
The Aguma of Takpesi laments how the people have been neglected.
Ruwa lokacin rani ya kai yanzu wallahi zamu yi wahala ruwa wanda su ma rafin da kuka wuce can shine muna tafi muna duba.
It is not our wish for them to go through what they are going through now, so I am assuring you that we are not taking their welfare for granted, so soon we will touch them too.
Takpesi, which is home to over 2,000 persons, is begging for any form of help, like this gesture recently offered to residents in Nuku community, where we last visited. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Many thanks indeed, Gloria. Now to Ogun State, where the commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA, in that state has called for more synergy among other security agencies to effectively combat the rising tide of drug abuse among the youth in the country. The state commander of the agency, Mr. Balafage, made the call in Abeokuta, the state capital, while taking delivery of 70 parcels of substance suspected to be Indian hemp. The drugs, neatly packed in envelopes, were valued at over 2 million naira by the state commander of the Nigeria Customs Service. Mr. Fage said urgent steps must be taken to reduce the crime rate among the youth, saying that 60 to 70% of crimes committed daily in the country are linked to effects of illicit drugs.
The health and well-being of an individual, as it is, without drugs, is something to take care of, because our body is a temple. That is one. Psychologically, it affects an individual, and thirdly, it affects the society, because individuals, drugs, affects the individual, it affects his immediate family, it affects the society in terms of lost job, in terms of school dropout, and a lot of other vices. It has been proven that most crime, before criminals went out to operate on hire assassin, political thuggery, and a lot of other things, they will now get Dutch courage, take drugs, and have a false hope and courage before they can commit heinous crime.
It is to reiterate that this type of substance is affecting the youth of the country. Even on the news today, it was highlighted the number of youth that are going into drugs. So we are intensifying effort to interdict such illicit trade across our border. We have interagency synergy with the NDLA. Whenever we apprehend such things, we hand over to them. In fact, this is the second time in the year we are handing over such seizure to NDLA.
And those are the reports we're tracking from Abuja. But still ahead on the news at 10, industry experts ask federal government to reform public fund management policies. That's on Business News. Do join us again.